under fading skies. Tattered flags waving dreams in our eyes. The crowds roar like a storm on the wind. We're the underdogs fighting again.
What's going on, guys? It is Saturday night, and it is time for the MLS live stream here on Stateside Footy. I'm your boy Steve, man, I love doing this every single weekend because after a shitty week of work, I'm looking forward to a little bit of MLS soccer. Not gonna lie, no cap, as the kids would say. But that being said, man, it is another MLS live stream, and of course tonight it is NYCFC hosting Charlotte FC, Eastern Conference number 5 and 6, and it should be an absolute banger. That being said, NYCFC is still playing from Yankee Stadium, so how great is it going to be? But two good teams that are definitely going to be in the playoffs, so we're about to get into it in just a second. Before we do, please make sure that you guys hit that like and subscribe button, and also hit the notification bell as well too, so you don't miss out on any upcoming Stateside Footy content. Quick shout out to all the homies that are tuning in on TikTok Live, all those that are tuning in from X and Facebook, and of course all you cats that are watching on YouTube, man, definitely appreciate it. And so again, man, like I was saying, this is the MLS Eastern Conference number 5 and 6. And when I'm thinking about it, and when I'm thinking about these two teams specifically, New York City, man, listen, I like them. I like them a lot. And, through 7, 3 wins, 2 draws, they do have 2 losses on the season. But what I like about it, man, is, there are 14 goals scored. Don't get it twisted. They've also leaked 9, but they have a +5 goal differential. But what I like about them is the fact that they look so organized into their attack as well too, and everything about their attack is clean. What I like about it is that nice little 1-2 punch between Maxi Morales and Fernandez is kind of nice. I like Ojeda, and I also like Wolf as well too. And from that standpoint, it's just a clean attack. I like their defense a little bit. Not as much as I like Matt Freese in net, but that being said, it is what it is. I think, as far as the Eastern Conference, outside of Inter Miami and possibly Nashville, I think NYCFC is kind of a complete team. Maybe don't get it twisted. Yeah, maybe they could use a couple pieces, and maybe they'll do that in the summer. But as of right now, man, I don't think you can complain. That being said, they got good leadership. They got good, nice young pieces. And it just seems like, everybody just kind of fits. Same thing with Charlotte. Charlotte themselves are, sitting right there, right below them, essentially in 6th place, both on 11 points, 3-2-2, 13 goals to the good, 9 to the bad, a +4 goal differential. But the thing I don't like about Charlotte is, on the one hand, their attack is actually kind of nice, led by Pep Biel. They got a nice little 9 in Toklamati. They got Wilf, and that's nice. And Aloko's pretty solid as well, too. But their back is trash. I'm not going to lie. Don't get me wrong. Ajamang, 21. Yeah, so maybe there might be a player there, but Tim Ream, good Lord, man. Outside backs are okay, and Byrne and Toffolo, okay. Not exactly the greatest goalkeeper in the world as well, too. But that being said, they seem to make it work, and Charlotte's probably going to be that type of team that is probably going to end up making the playoffs just off the strength of their attack. Now, whether or not this team is going to be able to win a trophy this season, I don't think so. I can't see Charlotte going on a run. I can't see Charlotte doing it. On the reverse side, I got to be honest as well, too. I don't know if NYCFC is capable of doing it as well, too. One of the things that NYCFC has to do without a shadow of doubt, like this summer, and again, it all gets back to the City Football Group and what their expectations are for NYCFC, is that are they going to wait in order to spend until they move into that new stadium, going into that stadium with some of the pieces that are going to be held over, and they're going to add to it, and then they're going to kick on as in a really kind of super kick on? Or is this something that who knows, man? Maybe they're gonna do something this summer. Who knows? But that being said, it's like I don't see them doing it either. Speaking of NYCFC, let's go ahead and take a look at their starting 11. And I would be remiss if I didn't say that they're not lining up in a 4-2-3-1. And as from head coach Pascal Janssen, Matt Freese will be in the back, a back four of O'Toole, Raul, and Traywin and Gray, a double pivot of Martins, and I think it's O'Neill, with Wolf, Morales, and Ojeda as the attacking three, with Fernandez up top. And, of course, Nico's got 5 goals. And I think that's kind of a miscue because they actually have O'Neill up top, and I actually think it's Fernandez. I could be wrong. And for Charlotte, they're going to be lined up in a 4-3-3 as by head coach Dean Smith, with Kalina in net, a back four of Byrne, Ajamang, Ream, and Toffolo, a midfield three of Westwood, Beal, and Bronico, and, of course, an attacking three of Aloko, Wilf, and Toklamati up top. And listen, man, Wilf is still got it. I love Wilf. But really, the guy that really, as of right now, that's leading their leading goal scorer is Pep Biel. But that being said, man, Wilf still has, especially for Major League Soccer, and when you're looking at the fact that there's still a wide discrepancy between attackers and defenders, this league doesn't necessarily have those world class outside backs that you're going to be able to, essentially man up 1v1 on the outside. We just don't necessarily have it. So a guy like Wilf, who is getting up there in age, still does have the advantage. And so from that, he's been able to do his thing. And for me, being a Crystal, a closet Crystal Palace supporter, I got a soft spot for Wilf, man. I really do. I remember that year in the championship, and I think it might have been 2012, 2013. Because if I remember the timeline correctly, I think it might have been 2009, 2010, where they went into administration, and then they got bought out by Steve Parrish in his consortium. And for 2 years they were building, and then I think it was 2012, 2013 where they got promotion back to the Premier League, and have stayed up stayed up since. And Wilf was so good that I think he was the first player in 15, 20 years to be called up to get caps for the English national team, like in 20 years. Like, it's very rare that a player from the championship is going to get capped. And I think he was the first one in quite a long time to get capped for England. And now eventually he ends up going back to his native country, which is the Ivory Coast. But still, it's quite impressive that anybody from the championship would get a cap to the English national team. But that being said, off the back of those performances, he ended up getting tapped to Manchester United. Don't get me wrong, he ended up back at Crystal Palace. Not to say that he couldn't do it at the Premier League, because he certainly could, and he did it with Crystal Palace. But Manchester United is a different beast. But I digress. All right, so we are getting pretty goddamn close to kickoff here from Yankee Stadium. Actually, they're playing in Citi Field. Thank God. It doesn't matter. It's still a baseball stadium. The good news is they're getting their new stadium built, and I'm really happy. And there's the third rail. And as far as supporters' name, I don't know how you guys feel. Supporters' names, I've seen better. That being said, I'm not saying that the third rail is terrible. I'm sure they're great. I'm sure they're great people. But we're getting set here. As it's just odd, man. It's just odd that they're still playing. Like they didn't think to, potentially like maybe get into a working agreement with the New York Red Bulls and maybe share Red Bull Arena, or maybe even go to the Meadowlands maybe, and just play a couple seasons at Giant Stadium, wherever the fuck they're calling it these days, MetLife, just for a few seasons. Until that new stadium open. I don't know, man. But we're getting that's the thing. It just looks ridiculous playing in a baseball stadium. And mind you, it's baseball season. And so these dudes are, and Fernandez is definitely playing on top. It's a double pivot of O'Neal and Traywin. Anyway, and these dudes are ripping up the turf at Citi Field. I don't know. It just looks odd. This soccer pitch is right. Oh, yeah. And it looks so small, too. All right, I'll be right back, guys. All right. And we're back. And I do apologize because I forgot my nicotine. All right. Yeah. All right. And it does look like they're Charlotte's lined up in a 4-2-3-1. Either way, same thing. 4-3-3, 4-3-2-1, or 4-2-3-1. Anyway, so we're getting pretty goddamn close to this one. As players to watch tonight. As don't get me wrong, man, as cool as Nico Fernandez is, yeah, Maxi Morales probably has to be somebody you have to watch. Tied for second this season in assists in Major League Soccer. He's been the guy. He's been that table setter, and of course, that dude is doing it with gray hairs in his beard. He's been around forever. But that being said, Maxi's hard. And he's been around. How long has Maxi Morales been around? And of course, for Charlotte Wolf, how long has Maxi been around? Just out of curiosity. Just for shits and giggles, how long has he been around? Let's find out. All right, so. Oh, yeah, he's been around forever. So he was in the Russian Premier League for FC Moscow at age 19 in 2007. And then he was at Atalanta in Serie A from 2011-2012 through 2016-17. No, excuse me, from to 2015-16. Then he was at Lyon for 2 seasons in Liga MX. He actually won a championship with Lyon in 2015-16. And then he's been with NYCFC for a minute. And then 2023, He played 17 games with Racing Club in Argentina, but then came back. So yeah, he's been he's been essentially 10 years NYCFC. Yeah, I thought so. He's been around forever. By the way, he's got 30 goals and 67 assists in his MLS career. That's insanity. That's absolutely insanity. By the way, have any of you guys watched the new Clint Dempsey documentary on Amazon Prime or Paramount Plus? How did you guys feel about that? Because it came on the heels of the Clint Dempsey, the Christian Pulisic documentary, and I don't know, man. I don't know how I felt about Pulisic, but it was kind of interesting too, because I always wanted to know, that, how he came to that decision to come back to Major League Soccer in 2013. And now we know Major League Soccer threw $35 million at the kid for 4 years. You're not going to say no to that. Like, he had a deal. He signed. What's interesting about it? Like, he signed after Fulham. He signed I think it was like a 3-year deal that was paying him like $9.5 a year for 3 years. And then after the first season, and he had a pretty good solid season that first year with Spurs, and then Major League Soccer just came right over the top and just paid the man. Paid him. And they gave him like 35 guaranteed. Yeah, there's no way he could have turned that down. But the what ifs were. But that being said, he was also Fulham's leading scorer, all-time leading scorer. We didn't even realize it in real time how awesome he was for Fulham. But that being said, I'm glad that he ended up coming back, because he was playing for my Sounders. But I'm just kind of curious to know how you guys felt about the doc, because U.S. Soccer did him dirty, as far as I'm concerned. They didn't, they gave Landon the farewell game, not too long after the World Cup in 2014, and I think it was November 2014. But a lot of those guys that were on the pitch in Trinidad in 2017, U.S. Soccer hasn't even brought them back. Not for a jersey retirement. You know what I mean? Not for a thank you. And I understand. I get it. Because, that was the team that notoriously didn't qualify. But, when you think about it, like Tim Howard probably goes down as our best keeper. Michael Bradley, unbelievable midfielder. Clint, all-time, joint leading all-time goal scorer. And it's like, U.S. Soccer, didn't pay tributes to their careers, man. And I think, at the end of the day, man, it's like, when you look at, Clint's record at the national team, and you see just how many big goals that he scored in World Cups, outside of, his first in 06, but you look at the goals that he scored in Confed Cup 09, you look at the goals he scored in World Cup 2010, 2014. He was a member of. Yeah, I think he also put a 3-piece in that Copa America 2016 as well too. So Clint was on top, for a long ass time, and for U.S. Soccer not to bring him back just to say, we appreciate your career. I think enough time has passed from not qualifying in 2017, where you can bring these guys back and let the fans appreciate them for their national team careers. So that what they had. Me personally, I think it's overdue. All right, so we are getting. That's just my thoughts on it. You guys, let me know if you guys have seen it. If you guys have seen the Clint Dempsey, if you guys seen the Dempsey documentary, please, comment on it comment on that. I'd love to hear your thoughts about that, because I actually think, I think it's long overdue. But we are getting ready to start, as it looks like NYCFC is going to be playing to the right field bullpen here at Citi Field. So they'll be playing from right to left to the bullpen, while Charlotte will be playing from the bullpen to the left field foul line. As Karsten Gilwald is our VAR today. So we are underway here from Citi Field here in the Big Apple. Actually, no, it's the other way around. NYCFC is playing to the left field foul line. So we are underway as Tim Ream now will play this one long. As this thing looks weird. And you got that's the thing, is you got the foul ball nets that are kind of obstructing the view. But needless to say, here comes NYCFC. This is a slim field too. This is some odd shit. Playing in a baseball stadium. Anyway, as NYCFC is going to try to bring this thing around. And now they'll play this one back. Yeah, it's just odd, man. They got the track all painted green. Charlotte's doing a pretty good job. They're pressing quite nice, but NYCFC now will hold possession as they are trapped. There's a ball that's going to get played out. Maxi Morales will try to hold it, and he does. There's a ball that's chipped up. And it will be, looks like it'll be Ojeda. And now they're going to have to play this back, but they have inched their way up the pitch here. And now they're going to try to swing this down to the left-hand side. And they do, over the painted dirt. Or did they lay grass over that? Come on, guys. Just paint the dirt. Anyway. And now there's going to be a switch to the right-hand side. Here's Ojeda. Coming in. Oh, that's a nice little ball in, but it takes a deflection. Now Charlotte will try to clear this one. NYCFC will try to hold it in as O'Neal had a touch that was a little too much. But NYCFC will come away with this ball here. As this is a short pitch here, man. By the way, the right touchline advertising boards here, the one that you see on TV, is asking everybody to book a hospitality package for World Cup 2026. So if you guys got an extra 30 grand, if you guys got an extra 30 grand in your back pocket, man, tell you what, man, book that hospitality package so you guys don't mix out, as it looks like Charlotte is going to take a penalty here as Maxi Morales will hit the dirt, and it's going to be Bronico who will actually pull a yellow card here. So it's nice to see all you guys from TikTok Live joining me tonight. That's nice. Good to see you guys. So NYCFC now will have a free kick here at a pretty decent, from a pretty decent area here, but they're going to play this one back as play resets. As that was a bad pass forward, but thankfully there's a deflection. So New York will hold possession here right around the midfield line, as they'll play this back to their center backs. Like, man, every team plays the exact same way. Reset after reset, playing it back between center backs. Just play the ball forward. There you go. Here's Ojeda trying to cut in. That's a good ball forward back to Ojeda. But then he loses control. And here comes Charlotte now, as they try to play this forward. It's Pep Beal. And there's a turnover. So here comes NYCFC off the counterattack through the weird grass. And that's just an errant pass. But there's a shot on net that's going to go wide. As it looks like it was Traywin. As Wolf put one in, but it was not exactly the greatest cross, but it did find a late charge and Traywin into the box. And his shot went way wide right. So Charlotte now will have the we'll play out of the back here. That's funny that they have a New York City Football Club emblem over the pitcher's mound. And then a hose on top of that, too. This is just dirty. As now they will switch this to the right. So New York City has actually held possession for the full 5 minutes here in the first half. And now there's a long ball, as that will be headed forward. But New York will hold possession. There's a flick forward, as Tim Ream now will clear this thing, as that was intended for for Nico Fernandez, but so New York will have to reset here after the long clearance by Tim Ream, as they're trying to attack down the left-hand side. That was just an errant pass, as O'Toole could not get to that. So this will be a Charlotte throw-in off the right-hand touchline, as the ball will be at Tim Ream's feet. And Charlotte looking for their first opportunity here, as possession has been held by NYCFC. No real clear-cut chances through the first 5-6 minutes for NYCFC, as Charlotte has yet to really get things going. But this one is going to go down the right-hand side, and immediately it's cleared away. As this is kind of a sloppy match so far, as that's taken away. But quickly regained by Charlotte. There's going to be a whistle, as the Czech referee will say that Alonco was a guilty party there. So NYCFC will have control now. I don't know, man. I don't know how I feel. Don't get me wrong. I've seen this Czech referee on multiple occasions. She's not terrible. She's also not good either. She's missed a lot of decent opportunities to blow the whistle. Sometimes she is allowed play to go on when there should have been a whistle, and then has blown a whistle when play should have continued to go on. I think there's like a give and take when it comes to refereeing. The more that you do it, the better you get at it. Obviously, that kind of goes with anything in life. Usually like early in a career, you're going to be by the book. But I think after a while, you kind of develop the tendencies that these 22 players on the field are going to dictate it. And you might, unless there's something very egregious that you have to blow your whistle, you're going to let these guys play to an extent. But I think she's been around for a while, though, as this ball is going to move its way forward. But Ajimeng will head this one forward. Ooh, that's a nice little pick. Oh, O'Toole nearly picked the back pocket right there, but Charlotte will hold possession here. How long has NYCFC been in Major League Soccer? All right. In 2015. Okay. All right, fair enough. So yeah, Maxi Morales has pretty much been around for forever. So they've been around since 2015, playing in Yankee Stadium, and now they're at They've been around 10 years, 10, 11 years. And they're still playing in a baseball stadium. So, all right. Yeah, so that's coming online next year. So it's their new stadium is Etihad Park. $780 million project. It's a 25,000 seat soccer specific stadium. It's located in Queens. It'll be open next season. There it is. So no more baseball stadiums after the season. So that's going to be nice. I can actually take this club seriously. Charlotte will hold possession. It's Ajamang now. As they'll try to play this one down the right. There's a long pass. As they're looking for Toclamato here. That's good defense by New York. As Morales now. And that one almost got away from Motul, but New York City will play this back to Matt Freeze. As they're going to try to play this one up the left side. Here's Nico Fernandez. And here we go. It's Morales. He's got a runner. It's going to be O'Toole. He's going to turn in. And now Morales is going to try to play one in Fernandez, but there was Tim Ream. Ooh, that's nice. That was nice by Wolf right there to take it right back. As New York is attacking here. That's a good ball right to Morales. Tries to play it forward, and Tim Ream is just going to play it back to Kalina right now. And so there ends New York's attack. As Kalina will play this one down the right-hand side. There's a Colo. Nearly taking it away. New York's doing a good job, but on the short pitch here, it kind of favors both sides, really. It's so small. It's easier for defenders to pack in. That's a nice little tip up. And now Tim Ream's going to have to play this one long. Here comes Charlotte now. Trying to tip it forward. That one's taken away. As Maxi Morales now will play it out right. Here's Nico. As Nico's being hounded here. As they play out of the press right there off the right-hand side. That's a nice little touch right there. And here's Maxi. We'll play it out to the right now. He's got some help. Oh, you got to play that in, buddy. You can't be hesitant. Just play it. One touch and play a ball in. As Maxi Morales gave that one away. Then here comes Charlotte now. As they will play this one down the right-hand side. That one's going to get tipped out. So Charlotte now will have the throw-in. As there's head coach Dean Smith, not to be confused with UNC head basketball coach Dean Smith. Not that guy. W name, though. All right. Come on, guys. We're almost 15 minutes in. Let's see a decent shot on net. As Tim Ream now will play it down the left-hand side, and they're gonna have to abruptly turn around. See, they're gonna try the right-hand side now. Nope. They're gonna go down the left-hand side. And now they'll try to play it long. Oh, they do find Toclamati there, except that's going to get out. So NYCFC will have to throw in here. as we're 15 minutes in. As that'll get played long. As Tim Ream will come down with the ball, and Ajamang will play it back to Kalina. And they'll try to set this to the right. There's a long ball. And that'll come down to NYCFC. And that'll get played all the way back to Matt Freeze. This was the best matchup of the weekend, in my opinion. There was some trashy matches this weekend. And I would have, obviously, you guys know me now. I would have done the Sounders match, but I think they don't play until tomorrow until late. They had the Champions League. There's a ball to the other side. Ooh, this is nice. In the box. Here we go. And of course they did they duff this one? Oh yeah. There you go. There's a ball through the 6-yard box and nobody's there. And here's O'Toole. That's a fun name. O'Toole. There's a good Irish lad. Or Scottish. I think there's a lot of O'Tooles over there. Seamus O'Toole. There's a shot. Ooh, nice save right there by Kalina. As there was a shot from outside the 18-yard box. That was sexy. As Nico put one on. Nearly a 1-0 match, 1-0 game. But here comes Okolo. Ooh. Oh, and they're going to get the late whistle. Oh, dear. And they're bringing out the yellow, too. She's got a nice ass, though. She really does. Ooh. But they're bringing out the yellow. Ooh, I don't know about that. That was a late yellow, too. As you see this, here it is again. So Okolo, and yeah, just Gustavo came over and just won the ball. And home dude just tripped over. Okolo just tripped over. So Gustavo gets the yellow. Raul Gustavo will take the yellow. And now all of a sudden, Charlotte's got a nice little free kick outside the box here. And it'll be Pep Beal standing over this one. And of course, Pep, I think, has got, 7 goals on the season? That dude's nice. So here we go. As that one goes, ooh. As it eventually does get cleared. But there was some danger right there as that ball gets played all the way back to Kalina. And so Charlotte will hold possession. As they're going to try down that right-hand side again. And I think this one's going to get out. It is. It's going to be a goal kick. As Okolo couldn't save it. Good hustle down the right-hand side right there by Okolo. So this will be a goal kick for NYCFC as they play out of the back. As play resumes, as that one is taken away by Charlotte. And now it's taken away by New York. So City will have possession here. As we are approaching the 20th minute here in the first half, not much has happened. All right. All right, so just checking it out because I did see a little ad for this. Apparently, they still do an All-Star game. So the 2026 MLS All-Star game will be at Bank of America Stadium in Charlotte, North Carolina on July 29th. And I believe it'll be an MLS All-Stars versus a Liga MX All-Stars. Okay. That's going to be for the third consecutive year. What I'd like to see is I'd like to see a U.S. What I'd like to see is the U.S. like the best domestic U.S. All-Star team, right? So if you're actually going to wear the badge, so this is an all-chick crew, okay? So like maybe a domestic U.S. men's national team versus the best international. Ooh, that would be sweet. Although the internationals would probably dummy because obviously Messi's going to be on that team, and old boy from San Diego, the Polish kid. Ooh, yeah. Or actually, you know what I'd like to see, man? I like what hockey has done because the NHL All-Star game, they tried so many different versions, and it became so redundant that nobody watched it. But they went to the Four Nations, and I like that idea. Having a Four Nations, as this one will go. Oh, nice, New York, and then he skies it into the third base side right there, as that was O'Neill. I'd like to see a Four Nations. That would be sick. That would be sick. Like U.S., Mexico, Canada, and then having like a fourth team, which is like the All-Star team. You know what I mean? Having like a Four Nations, so you have like domestic. You have like a domestic-based U.S. national team squad, a Mexican national team squad, a Canadian squad, and then you have your MLS All-Star team. But of course, those U.S. domestic players would be on the U.S. squad. You know what I mean? That would be kind of sick. And you have like a 3-day mini tournament. That'd be the shit. I'd tune into that. So this will be a Charlotte throw-in, as that one will bounce into the box, and it immediately will get cleared as New York will come down with the ball here. And I got to act quick as this one is going to be kept in by Charlotte. I'd be all for that, like a Four Nations, all domestic based. That'd be sick. I have a feeling Mexico might run us though. As Charlotte comes away with this one, that's a no call off the touchline, and then oh my god, Toklamati just gave the ball away. God, this game has been trash so far. That one was nearly given away as Maxi Morales gets back his heavy touch. There's a ball forward. That's a good ball forward. That's in the box. Here comes City. Shoots. Save. There's the rebound. That's going to get blocked. As Nico, that was Wolf right there. That put that secondary shot on. That was nice. City comes away with the ball here. Now all of a sudden we got something cooking. As Wolf will play it forward. Why are you turning around, dog? Just push forward, man. God, this style of soccer just infuriates me. Everybody plays the exact same way. Just get the ball forward and put something on net. Good Lord. Here's O'Toole. Side to side and backwards. Just in the name of possession. Here's O'Toole. Play it. Play it. God, he had 5 seconds to play one in. There you go. That one skied into the third base stands. Good Lord. Yeah, I'm sorry about that, guys. That was a good ball over the top, though. That was a good block by Achimeng. He's the lesser known of the Achimengs. Although he's not terrible, though. I will say that 21-year-old Ghanan. The Ghana International, I don't think they're related. As that ball now will go to the left-hand side. That's a nice little pick right there by Kalina. Yeah, okay, yeah, they're not related. But that was wild, though, that both Patrick and Morrison Ajamang played together in Charlotte. That's wild. All right, here we go. As New York is playing it forward here. That was a good pass. Here's O'Toole. O'Toole's going to chip one over. Oh, it's just a bad chip. As Nico goes crashing down trying to get that ball back. Was that Wilf in the mix right there? Yeah, I think it was. Here's Tim Ream. That's a nice little pass. And Tim Ream falls down. Holds on to the ball, though. And that ball forward went absolutely nowhere. As down on the ground, I think goes Wilf. I think this might be it for Wilf, though, in Major League Soccer, at least. I don't think he's enjoyed his time here. And I think his wife said something about that as well, too. Yeah. Yeah, I think she did. Yeah. Yeah, I think she said, yeah, only a month and a half left in Charlotte. Yeah. Yeah. As New York now comes. And that ball gets cleared out. Yeah, I think that's what she said. Yeah, only a month and a bit until they're done in Charlotte. I think Wilf wants out. I don't blame him too. My man's been hacked up. There's a ball across the box that went to absolutely nowhere. Here's Wolf. That's a nice little pass. Ooh, that's going to take a deflection out. Good pass in. As I think, what's his ass? I think that might have been either. I think that was Traywin again, crashing into the box with that nice little shot there. As this will be a corner here for NYCFC, as it'll be Maxi. As that'll be headed down. I think they're going to do this one again off the other side. Ooh. There we go. There we go, guys. Sorry about that. Charlotte now will play this out of the back. That'll get out as they couldn't keep possession. So NYCFC now. As we're about 30 minutes in now. Still nothing all that exciting, although they did have that nice little chance right there a little bit earlier. Did City, but outside of that, Charlotte's been absolutely non-existent in this match. I can't believe we're still playing on a baseball diamond. As this one will go down to the left-hand side. Here's Wolf. Here's Sneakers O'Toole. That's a nice little ball right here to the left-hand side. Drive forward, man. God, you had the corner on your defender. Yeah, these soccer players are not the same. Yeah, City will hold possession here. That's a good ball through to Maxi Morales. Ooh, nice. Here's Wolf. Ooh, good save by Kalina. That was a very good save. As that ball found Wolf in a good area too. And that was a very good save right there by Kalina. Right there at the far post. That was nice. As this match still is at 0-0, as New York is starting to open up a little bit now. They're finding the gaps. There's another ball forward. Here's O'Toole. That'll go to the back post. Headed on. Ooh, off the post. Off the post. Again, nearly a goal as New York is on the door knocking. As that'll find O'Toole. That's a good ball forward. Here's Nico, who's going to try to put one on, and there's Kalina right there who'll just hold it. But New York has had 3 solid opportunities to take the lead in this one. Good goaltending by Kalina. As this dude, yeah, jumped to the left. That was Ojeda. Jumped over to get to that header and just clanked it off the post. As I think they're gonna say there's a foul on O'Neal. As Bernico hits the deck, but that being said, I think Bernico kind of embellished right there. Nonetheless, Charlotte will come away with the possession here. Here's Timmy. It's Bronico. That's a good ball down the right-hand side. Here's Okolo. Tries to put one in. That's going to be headed away by Raul. As Bernico will head it back. And Charlotte still holds possession. As Charlotte trying to find a way forward. They do. And then they immediately pass it back. There you go. That's a good pass right here. Here's Pep Beal as it hits the ref, and they're going to stop play. It hit the it hit the ref. Here we go. Here's Pep. Here's Wilf. Oh, that's a good ball. Oh, and Okolo couldn't handle it. Still keeps it in though. Heavy touch. And then they're gonna play it all the way back again. God damn it. All that work to get into good into a good area, and Wilfred Zaha again gets taken down. He can't get a whistle. So take on your dude and try to get into the box. Show some bravery. Ugh. As that ball will go forward. As that'll find Nico Fernandez. So New York will hold possession here. Here's Maxi. That's a good ball. As that's going to take a deflection. So this will be a corner kick for New York, as we're now in the 36th minute now here in the first half. Still 0-0. New York has certainly had the better looks. In this one. As they're going to try to play this one short. There's a chip over. Oh, nice. Ooh. On target, but over the crossbar. As that was Raul. As they had Raul floating. Not a bad idea. He just couldn't get it on target right there. So Charlotte now will have the goal kick here as they try to play out of the back. As Wilf gets away from his man. Now Wilf is in space as this ball goes to the left-hand side. Oh, man. As Tofolo was taken down with a nasty slide tackle. Play on, says the ref. That's what I mean. The reffing is just terrible. That easily should have been a whistle. Charlotte. That was a bad pass from Rajamang back to Ream, but Charlotte's had absolutely no attacking prowess tonight. They've just been trying to hold possession with no end in sight. Just to say they can. There you go. There you go. Progress the ball forward. That's a switch to the right-hand side. Does find a Colo. There you go. Back post. There's Wilf. And Wilf couldn't do anything, and Matt Freeze come away from it. As they did find Wilf. Just that that ball to the back post was just a little too high, as Wilf had to jump for it. As Matt Freeze was able to take that one down easy. So that's Charlotte's first real, I guess, attacking look, and it came in the 39th minute. As they're going to blow a whistle here, as it will go the other way. That's right. Luca De La Torre is in Charlotte. Forgot about that. As New York will come away with this. That's so funny. Where their benches are. That's hilarious. As this one will go up the right-hand side. And that's not a good ball forward. As Charlotte will take over. As New York will now try to work it down the left-hand side. Here's O'Toole. All right, let's get forward. There you go. Here's Nico. I think I'm about to blow my brains out. There you go. There you go, New York. There's a ball in. That's going to drop down to O'Neal. That's going to be deflected and out. And this will be out for a New York City corner kick. I believe this is their third. As they finally got themselves in a position, played it in. As that was deflected all the way back to O'Neal, who put one on, but that's going to take a deflection. So this will be another corner. It's been a while since I've seen a goal off a corner. As Morales will play it short. There's a ball back post, and right there is Kalina. Terrible. So terrible. As Charlotte will look to play it out of the back. As Ajamang. I think nearly almost had it taken away right there. As Kalina's going to have to play this one long. As Wilf will come up with the ball here. As that'll get out. So I think Charlotte will have the throw in here. Kind of a lazy pass by Wilf. Not going to lie. That side judge is ghastly. Ghastly looking. As that ball goes down the right-hand side to absolutely nobody at all. As Matt Freese will come away with it. The U.S. number one. Hasn't had too much work here in the first half. As Charlotte's attack has been absolutely muted. As here we go. Here comes New York. They'll play it down the left-hand side. As O'Neal We'll give and go with Nico here as they look out to the wings. It's O'Toole. That's good defense right there by Ajmang, who takes it away. And they're going to be a whistle here against Raul Gustavo. As Toklamati's down, he's fine. Yeah, that right there is a bad call. As Toklamati, first initial reaction is to hit the dirt. Yeah. Their feet got tied. Okay, I guess. He's inadvertently stepped on his foot. That's weak. That's Pep Beal. We'll come away with it. Here's Wilf. And now there's going to be a whistle. As Traywin is down. As Wilf can't believe it. Yeah, no wonder why he's leaving. This is absurd. 1 minute of extra time here. As we were kind of getting towards the end of that 1 minute of extra time, as Wilf is still going ham on the referee here. All right, looks like that's over. Yeah, we actually have some of the worst referees in the world. Without a doubt. As play resumes. Yes, here comes NYC. That's a good ball forward. Here's O'Toole. And he's going to play one in. That's going to get redirected. He'll keep possession, though. As Tim Ream. And I think that's going to be the end of the first half. As this match is 0-0 after the first 45. As we have Czar 22-2-2-9-7. We watching Ream getting pantsed. Actually, he hasn't been bad. Can't say that he's been bad. He hasn't necessarily been good either, but Charlotte on the whole has been absolutely pants. As we check out the halftime stats here, as NYCFC has held possession 64-36. XG NYCFC is 0.75 to Charlotte's 0.00. NYCFC has 10 total shots. Charlotte has none. Shots on target, 3-0. Big chances, 3-0 to Charlotte. And New York City's missed all three of their big chances. Accurate passes, 347 to 184. Fouls committed, 5-3 to NYCFC. And they've also had 3 corners to Charlotte's 0. We don't need to go over the XG because we already know it. Shots, let's see. New York has hit the woodwork once. They've had 3 block shots. They have 6 shots inside the box and 4 outside. Total passes 383 to 217. Passes in their own half 177, which is a crazy number, to 139. Passes in the opposition half 170 to 45. Accurate long balls Charlotte 15 to 9. Accurate crosses 1 apiece. Throws 5 apiece. Touches in the opposition box 18 to 5 to NYCFC. Both teams have 1 yellow card. Defense on the defensive side, the tackle battles, it is 12-3 NYCFC. Interceptions, Charlotte actually has 7 to City's 4. 3 blocks to 0 for Charlotte. Clearances 13 to 11, and keeper saves 3-0 to Charlotte. Duels. City leads that one 20-12. Ground duels 16-9 to City. Aerial duels 4-3 to City, and both teams have one successful dribble. Oh, that was boring. I got to be honest with you. I'm holding in there, though. I'm hoping that we're going to see some scoring here. Taking a look around Major League Soccer. Today, Austin and Toronto played to a 3-3 draw. As, let's see, Daniel Saloe scored in the 52nd minute, Richie Laria in the 67th, and Kobe Franklin in the 88th for Toronto. For Austin, John Bell scored in the 29th, Facundo Torres in the 78th, and Christian Ramirez in the 82nd. So that was pretty entertaining. As that one ended at 3 apiece. How about this? Montreal beating the Red Bulls 4-1. Ouch. As Victor Lattori kicked things off in the 5th minute. Prince Owusu in the 39th on a penalty. Matty Longstaff in the 49th and Kowadwu Opoku in the 77th. And the Red Bulls ended up with an own goal from Matty Longstaff in the 53rd as the Red Bulls get blitzed by 4-1. Ouch. Inter Miami did beat Colorado 3-2 as Yannick Bright actually takes a red card in the 87th minute, but Messi has a brace in this one as he scored in the 18th minute off a penalty. And in the 79th minute, as Herman Berterame scored the 45+5 for Colorado, Rafael Navarro in the 58th minute, and Darren Yappy in the 62nd. So even a late red card still couldn't do shit. Let's see. Philadelphia and DC is 0-0 at the half. Chicago leading FC Cincinnati 2-1 as that one's about to hit the is about to hit the half. As they got first half goals from Hugo Kuipers in the 26th, and then Philip Zickernickel in the 45+5, and Tom Barlow scored for Cincinnati. That's a name for you, Tom Barlow. Get after it, Tom. Let's see. Columbus leading New England 1-0 at the half as Max Arsenin scored in the 24th minute. Come on, Max. Shut those haters up. Orlando City and the Dynamo are 0-0 at the half, and Atlanta United and Nashville is 0-0 at the half. Later tonight, FC Dallas will host the Law Galaxy. Minnesota will host Portland. Seattle will host St. Louis. That's at tonight at 9:30. And Real Salt Lake will also host San Diego FC tomorrow night on Sunday Soccer, hosted by Walmart. Who knew? Walmart likes soccer. Anyway, LAFC will host San Jose. I was thinking about doing that match initially until I saw what time. Well, it's at 7 o'clock, but it's Sunday, and unfortunately, I can't do that. It just doesn't play. So we are at the half, and quite honestly, I got to be honest with you. NYCFC has been the better team, and I think most in part is they know how to play on this short pitch, man. Being able to bob and weave through some of these small spaces. It always ends up going to the home team anyway, as they've actually had the looks. But for the most part, Charlotte just hasn't been able to do anything. They like to play through the center parts of the pitch, and they're not able to do it. And so, unfortunately, they've been stuck on the wing, trying to play down that right-hand side to Okolo. And for the most part, it just hasn't worked. And so they're going to have to dial up something. I thought Pep Biel would play a pivotal role in this one, and so far he's been kind of silent. As the guy that's kind of been drifting centrally has been Wilf. And I'll tell you what, man, Wilf has been hacked up quite a bit. But what I will say is that Charlotte's going to have to figure out something. And I don't necessarily know if they got that something on their bench that will unlock it. As let's see who is on their bench. Let's see. They got Luka. Maybe Luka can come in a little bit later. But outside of that, they got Archie Goodwin, Kerwin Vargas, Leo Labata, and Tiger Smalls. His name is Tiger, spelled with a Y. No way. Yeah, no shit. Yeah, he is. He's English. Tiger Smalls is English. How about that? We got a guy named Tiger. Let's see. And Jonathan Shore, he's actually not bad. Keaton Parks, not bad either. Maximo Carrizo, he's actually nice too. New York's got a nice little bench on it. They got a nice little youthful bench. Talas Mongo, he's actually not bad either. That's nice. New York's got a nice little bench. Yes, let's see. They got a lot of injuries too. Yeah, they got a roster full of injuries. All right. So as we get started here in the second half, and I would listen, New York City has actually had the best chances. It's just, listen, man, Kalina has essentially been standing tall because they put some nice moves on Kalina, nearly scored 3 times, and it just so happens that he's came up big. That little shot by Wolf right there should have went in. That was a nice little that was a nice stretch right there. But what I will say is that they got to keep playing that combination play down that right hand side, because Ojeda has been nice and dangerous. Maxi's been pretty solid, and they just have to keep on doing what they're doing. Eventually, one is going to fall, because it felt like for a good 10-minute stretch there, NYCFC was on the door knocking to get that goal. So from that standpoint, I would continue doing that because Charlotte, especially attacking down that right-hand side, because you're essentially going up against Tim Ream. And Reamy, for the most part, is beatable. And Tofolo hasn't really had that great of a game either, man. So there is something to be had down that down that right-hand side. And so we will see what that will look like in that second half. But yeah, for sure, man. He has been nice, man. Kalina's been nice, as New York had multiple opportunities. And yeah, tell you what, man, he's a good goalkeeper. There should have been a couple of goals in that first half. That's the only reason why Charlotte's in this match, because their offense has been hot garbage. Their attack has been terrible. So we will see what happens in the second half. All I know is Charlotte's got to do a better job, because their attack actually is what is the reason where they're at in the in the Eastern Conference table, as they typically actually do quite well when it comes to goals per game. From that metric, they score quite a bit. Today, not so much, as the youngsters are in the crowd. So before we get into the second half, I do want to talk a little bit about it, because we are on the cusp of, Pochettino naming his 26-man roster for the World Cup. And, there has been some talk about, Major League Soccer players and their inclusion or exclusion onto the World Cup squad. And make no mistake, there's going to be at least 6 that will make it, just from the keepers alone. We'll have 3 of them just right off the top, but I would probably assume that Arfston will be there, probably Roldan, and probably Diego Luna. But the interesting thing, though, is when we're looking at some of the progression of some of these young American players, whether it be Gozo or Julian Hall or even Mehmeti in New York, and maybe even Kevin Sullivan to an extent, although Kevin's 16, 17 years old. But these guys, and I've been consistent when I've been saying it as well too, where it's like None of those guys are going to be on the World Cup squad, and it has nothing to do with whether or not they're good. It's the fact that, number one, none of them have been called into any camp whatsoever, but also the fact that they're a lot of these guys are 18 to 20, and they're next cycle guys anyway. When you kind of look at the age differential come 2030, they're going to be right there in that 21, 22 age gap, which is kind of where which is where usually national teams will bring in a young player, unless they're incredibly gifted. Like, Turkey brought in Arda Güler when it came to the Euros last cycle. Same thing with Spain with Yamin Lamal. But that being said, it's like, last time we saw it with the U.S. was Christian, and maybe before that Landon. But those kids were those when they hit the senior national team, they were more than ready to handle that. And just because of their prolific youth careers, when you're looking at some of these young kids and you're starting to look at their youth careers, it's like, they really haven't accomplished much. And that's, it's no disrespect to them. It's just some of these kids are, developed a little bit differently. But that being said, when the new coach gets named post World Cup, because you probably assume that Mauricio Pochettino is headed back to the Premier League after this spell with the U.S., that whoever that new head coach is going to be, the advantage of the fact is that Camp Cupcake does return this year in December instead of January, and that's the perfect time to bring in those young players at that stage, because when you're looking at some of the players that we have now, some of our best players are like post 25, and so come 2030 some of these guys are going to be 30, 31, right? So you're going to need that next crop of players coming through, and that's the perfect time to give some of these young kids their first cap. So come mid-cycle, when it comes to the next go round with the Copa America, because we're going to be playing in that bitch, that they've had a couple years already in the senior national team, and you bring them along slowly, and then you slowly incorporate them with first team players, and then you assemble your team and you find out exactly how they mesh and who stacks up, and then from that standpoint you can start playing them against better competition, and get them ready for 2030. But the idea that they're going to be playing in 2026, I mean, come on. It doesn't necessarily make a lot of sense, because you're not going to get anything from them on that stage right now. But we look set now for the start of the second half, as Charlotte has their work cut out for them, because they've been hot garbage in this first half outside of their keeper. That's cute. They come out of the dugouts. That's funny. That's funny. I still can't get over we're 2026 and they're playing at a baseball field. As we're getting set, so NYCFC will be going from left to right as they're playing towards the bullpen. And it looks like we might see some changes here to start the second half. And it looks like it's going to be Charlotte. And it'll be... So it looks like maybe Tim Ream has come out. And Andrew Privet has come out for Ream. So that's interesting. And yeah, like I was saying right there at the halftime, like they've been doing all the bulk of their work down that right-hand side. And yeah, for sure, they decided to swap out their left center back. And that's not a bad idea, as they needed it. As NYCFC will start the second half with possession here. As Matt Freeze now will play it out of the back. And here come the Seasons. That's a dumb nickname. Oh, that's a bad mistake. Here comes New York. Oh, that was a bad pass, too. Wolf, what are you doing? That was cake, and you just gave the ball away. Oh. It's all good though. New York kept possession, so this has just been a trash game. As here comes New York down the left-hand side here. There you. What are you doing? Oh, that was terrible. As Maxi Morales tried to play a ball forward, except there was no runner. As that one will get out past the end line, so this will be a goal kick for Charlotte. As Privet will be responsible here, and now it's back to Kalina. As that will make its way out to Ajimang. And we are underway here with Charlotte's first real shot at possession. That one's going to take a deflection, and it's going to be kept in by New York. There's a ball in. Here's Nico. Tries to chip it, and I think that's going to get out for a goal kick. Oh, are they saying it got out? Oh, they're going to say it's a free kick. Ugh. So Kalina will send him all the way down. So this will be a long kick here from the keeper. Oh no. I mean, we're only in match week 8, so it's still very early. I don't know. Maybe New York might be able to do something. I mean, they got the pieces. Granted, I mean, they did win MLS Cup in 2020-21, so it's not like they're any strangers to lifting trophies. It's been a while. I'll give you that. And I'm certainly not going to judge them off that first half, although they should be up 2-up by now. But as here comes Charlotte now, as my man's being harassed, as Klein and I will swing it off left to Privet, who's got to act quickly, and he does. As New York is absolutely just closing down space. That's a good ball to Okolo. That was taken away by New York. As that ball goes long. As that'll get knocked around, and here's Privet, who plays it back to Kalina. And Charlotte will restart as it finds its way out right to Ajimang. As Kalina now will play this long. Does have Tofolo. And Tofolo nearly lost it, as it does find Bronico. And Bronico's pass gets taken away. So New York will start. And they got to do the obligatory 3 in the back, passing the ball amongst their center backs. Got to have that. Can't play soccer. By all means, can't play it forward without playing it back a half a dozen times before you eventually make it forward. That's a terrible pass, as Charlotte will take it away. And Charlotte now will hold possession. Oh. Like, why make the pass if home dude is going to pass it right back to you? There's a good ball over the top. It does find a Colo. Tries to play it across, and there's Matt Freeze. Oh, those shorts are kind of cool. I kind of dig it. That's a nice little forward pass from Makolo. He tried to play one in, and he did have a runner. It was Toklamati, but Matt Freeze was right there. Nice chance right there by Charlotte. That's their first of the game. And there's a ball that's trying to get played through, but Ajaming is there. But New York City will come away with it. As we're now approaching the 52nd minute. As New York now. We'll try to progressively move this ball up the pitch. That's a good little shot down the left-hand side, but God, run forward. Good Lord. As that ball now will get switched. As it's down to Nico. He's going to play one in back post, and there's just nobody there. As it looks like he was looking for O'Neal. I blame Pep Guardiola. Because now everybody's playing some version of his style of football. It's just infuriating. Here's Will. Oh, nice play right there by Wilf. That's a good ball forward. Oh, here's Toklamati. And that's a goal. Charlotte. That's a nice goal right there. Pass Matt Freeze. As that ball weaved in, and just out of sheer boredom, Charlotte takes the lead. As Toklamati. That's a good little finish right there, too. As Wilf plays it forward and hits Toffolo, and he just plays one in, and Toklamati gets one past Matt Freeze right there. Nice little third ball. That was an even better finish. So Charlotte grabs the lead. I didn't even think we were. I for a while there, I didn't think we were going to see a goal, but we do, and it's Charlotte. Here comes New York as they try to play one forward. As Toffolo will play this one out. Oh, and Wolf loses possession, and Pep Beal nearly loses, but he does lose as that ball goes out of bounds. So New York will have the throw in. As that ball, oh, there's going to be a whistle. Oh, as they're going to say that one was against Wilf. That wasn't a. Yeah, that was not a foul. Yeah, that was a good that was a good finish right there. Seriously, I blame Pep Guardiola. And at the time, it was cool because he was really the only guy playing that high possession based system. That's a good ball in. There's Kalina again, and it was cool. Um, doing it with Barcelona and Bayern, as a lot of teams were still kind of in that Sir Alex Ferguson. Ooh, there you go. Charlotte's about to do it again. That takes a nice little friendly bounce. So here's Charlotte as Wolf tries to play one in, but they'll hold it as Charlotte again comes away with it. Here's Tofolo. There's a ball in. Ooh, and that nearly came down. As that was nearly 2-0 Charlotte. As New York now will try to play this forward. That's a chip that's going to come down. Yeah. Nice little run right there by Ajamang to try to hold possession, but City will come down with it. Back in the heyday, even a lot of international coaches were very pragmatic. That's another stop by Kalina. I think Ojeda might have been offside right there though. But yeah, a lot of coaches played in that style of Sir Alex Ferguson or Arsene Wenger. And you had, I guess you can call him an innovator because everybody plays it now. So I guess you kind of have to. Pep Guardiola, who was playing this high possession, and now there's only a couple coaches that differentiate that are so far different, and that is Jurgen Klopp plays a different style. They call it heavy metal, but it's really just a high pressing system. As play will resume, as that ball just gets booted all the way down. I think they're going to call this one back. Jurgen, plays a very heavy pressing style of football. And the idea is to win the ball up higher up the pitch. And so, 1-2 touch passing, and then you're in a scoring position and you have to run. And so your energy, your fitness levels have to be, through the roof in order to play in it. But that being said, he had a lot of success at Liverpool. Ange Postecoglou is another guy that plays a very different style. And that is, you talk about heavy metal football, that dude, like if he can send a goalkeeper up into the box, he would. Like he has, he'll cram eight in the box. And he's literally just, I want to score 4 goals. His best defense is offense. That's a nice little touch forward. Here's Nico. And that's going to be taken away by Wilf. Ooh. And that's just going to get booted all the way up. But outside of that, I can't think of another coach that maybe Cesc Fabregas, maybe. Who's the dude with Milan? Yeah, he's kind of different as well too. But for the most part, everybody plays some version, and especially in Major League Soccer now, it's wild. Teams playing out of the back, 500 passes a game, 60% possession. It's like, dude, who gives a shit? Get the ball up the pitch quick, and put a shot on net. It's real simple. I remember watching a a match in the championship where a team had 25% of the possession and won 5-0. Because all he did was just get up the pitch and score. That's it. And these matches where it's like, you have to methodically play your way up the pitch, and it involves you passing it back to your center backs 10 times just to get yourself up the pitch is ridiculous. Ugh, so it's so aggravating. Here's Wilf. Wilf is drawn deep, though. This is odd. Here's Topolo. He's going to play one in. That's going to find a Colo. Here's a shot. That's going to fly. Past the crossbar right there. Good open shot right there by a Colo. That was actually kind of nice. Now Charlotte's kind of opening up a little bit. Yeah, I blame Pep. The funny thing is you see some teams that are absolutely brain dead in their ability to build out teams where they'll prioritize speed and physicality, which is nice, but if you can't pass the ball, you're stuck. And there's some bad passing teams out there. Here's Wolf. What's Wolfie doing? That was terrible. There's a chip in. As New York will hold it, there's a shot that's going to take a deflection. That'll get out. As that was Gray. Excuse me, guys. As we're now in the 63rd minute, so we got less than a half hour left in this one. I should have done Chicago and New England. Actually, yeah, seriously, Chicago, Cincinnati. They're leading right now, 3-1. How about that, man? Hugo Kuipers gets another one. How long has Hugo Kuipers been in Chicago? Although Montreal Red Bulls would have been cool too. I gotta show Montreal some love. They're terrible. Yeah, they're the Saputo Inc. Joey Saputo. Yeah. He even named the stadium after him. He's got that cheese money, and they also own Bologna in Serie A. As NYCFC nearly scored right there. And again, it looks like Kalina did a good job. He's got that cheese money, man. That old school dairy cheese money. And Montreal is just terrible. I think it's government cheese, really. As Maxi Morales will play this one out to the left. That's a nice little ball. As they're going to try to chip this one in. There's Kalina again. And he will fall on it. So New York comes up short yet again here in the 65th minute. Yeah. I almost feel bad for Montreal, but that being said, they got a terrible ownership group. I sometimes forget they're in Major League Soccer. As here comes New York now across the midway line. And it'll be Nico. As that gets played out to the left. That's a shot that's going to be saved by Kalina. As that'll get out. I think New York will have another corner here. As Traywin popped it out to Maxi. He just played one on, and that was a good save right there by Kalina. As he was going for the far corner right there. So that'll get out. And we will have a corner for New York. And looks like they're going to be making a switch here. As Ojeda comes out, here comes Magno. As they'll play it short yet again. And now they'll try to hit this to the, I don't even know. That didn't even go back post. As Sneakers O'Toole will come out and play this all the way back to Matt Freeze. And they'll reset. Here we go. As it looks like Maxi is down. And I think they're going to call this one against Privet. They are. There's the yellow card. So it looks like New York will have a free kick as we see this one again. Oh, I don't know about that. But nonetheless, Privet gets the yellow. Let's see if New York can get on the board. Here we go. As they go short again. That was a terrible idea. There's a ball in. And there's a ball out. As that comes down. And New York will hold it. As that one goes all the way to the right. Here's Wolf. As Gray now will play it forward. Here's Maxi playing it in. Oh, there's a header. And that'll go way, way, way in the opposite direction as it looks like Raul got at the end of that one. Good little disguise right there. As Raul did get to it, except his heading ability. Yeah, that wasn't good at all, homie. As Charlotte will also make a sub. As Colo comes off. As Vargas will check in for Charlotte now. Looks like it's going to be a like for like. Here in the 69th minute. 20 minutes remain here in Citi Field in Queens. As the New York Mets, I'm just playing. Look at this. Major League Soccer is doing everything to get people to buy the hospitality packages. As New York, after that brouhaha, will come away with possession. Here's Wolf. Off the half turn. Still will hold possession. As that one will go down the left-hand side. Here's Maxi. There's a ball in. Does find there's a ball in, and Kalina will punch it out. Kept in by New York. That's a good ball forward. Here's Maxi now. Maxi tries to play one in, and Home Dude got bodied by two different defenders. Still, no whistle. As Mertens now will play this one back. as they'll try again. There's a little bit of a sense of urgency from New York now, as they are trying to play balls in as much as they can. They're actually getting nice little looks in the box, just no final element. As Maxi Morales played a good through ball in, and it was Raul coming from a center back position into the box. As that ball will skip on past him. As this will be a goal kick. As Kalina will play this one long. Down the right-hand side. As that'll skip on past, and New York again will hold possession. And I think this is gonna go out. Last touched by New York, so Charlotte will have this ball deep in New York territory here. As if Charlotte holds on here, they will, ooh, as that one will go take a deflection off of Gustavo. If Charlotte takes all 3 points tonight, they will move into fourth place in the Eastern Conference, 2 points behind Inter Miami on 14 points. As Toronto, with a 3-3 draw today, they moved into fifth, solid on 12 points. So there is, there is a little bit of separation, as the New York Red Bulls lost today, of course, losing to Montreal. So as nothing came about that corner for Charlotte, as New York will play this one all the way down as Charlotte resets. As New York will try to press. As Gustavo will come away with this one. As Mertens will play it down the left-hand side. As here's Nico Fernandez. As he's got Maxi. That's a nice little overlap. There's a ball in, and that just went straight to Kalina. As I think that was Sneakers O'Toole right there. It was. That's a good ball forward down the left-hand side for Charlotte. It's Toffolo. As they make their way to the right-hand side, it's Vargas. And why did he pass it all the way back? Good Lord. That's a decent flick on there. Just was nobody there except for Matt Freeze. So New York will have possession yet again, as we're now in the 70, coming up to the 75th. So we have 15 minutes plus added time remaining here in Queens, New York. As this one makes its way down the left-hand side here. There's a shot. Ooh, nice save by Kalina. As that was Gray. That's a nice little save right there. As that ball was played long, and New York will come down with the ball yet again. As here's Nico Fernandez. That's a good ball forward. Here's Wolf. Wolf tries to get around, plays it in the box. And that'll be cleared, and it finds Wilf. as Wolf will go down, and he does get the whistle. And he's smiling because he actually finally gets a whistle. As it looks like Charlotte's going to make a triple or a double. So Luca Dolatorre is coming in, and it looks like New York will make a change as well too. So Toklamati will come out. As Luca Delatorre comes in for Charlotte here. As Raul Gustavo comes off for New York. So Bronico and Toklamati come off for Goodwin and De La Torre. And automatically, here comes Luca. That's a good ball over. Here's Goodwin. Ooh, nice save right there by Matt Freese. And it looks like Keaton Parks has come on for NYCFC. As here comes New York down the left-hand side yet again. As they'll make the switch to the right-hand side. Here's Wolf. As that ball will go to the back post. Oh, nice defense right there by Charlotte, but New York will hold this one in. There's a ball in. And there's Kalina. There's nobody there. As we are approaching the final 10 minutes now, a couple of minutes away from that, as we are now in the 78th. Charlotte does lead 1-0 as they got a nice little goal from Toklamati. Not too far off the start of the second half, somewhere right there in that 55th-ish minute. Yeah, 54th. But here comes New York now down the right side. That's a good ball through, but again, good defense by Charlotte. That ball will stay in New York's Charlotte's side of the half. As they make this one out to the right. Here's Wolf again. Cuts in. Wolf will take a shot, and that'll go over the crossbar. Good opportunity right there for Wolf. He just missed it. As it looks like City's getting a little desperate here. They had multiple chances in the first half. Couldn't put one away. Charlotte was able to put away their one opportunity. And that's where we stand here. Yep, play it back to your keeper. Don't even think about going forward. You got to have 3 back passes, homie. And a couple side-to-sides before you decide to go forward. There's a good ball forward. Here we go. New York is on the left-hand side. And I think they're going to get the whistler here against Byrne. So Talas Mongo gets the call. Yeah, that 100% that was a foul. So New York actually gets a free kick, and now Byrne's going to get the yellow. Apparently for arguing with the referee there, as he was shown yellow. So we are now in the 80th minute. So New York has a very good opportunity here in a dangerous area. Let's see if they can capitalize. Here's Morales. He puts one on. Oh, and he just misses. His Talismango or Magoo went up for it. It goes over his head, so New York misses a good opportunity here. As they are re-showing Charlotte's goal, that really was a nice, very worked goal right there. As New York will come away with possession. Here's Keaton. God, that's a dumb name. And now here comes New York. That was a well-worked ball in. As Wolf drops it off to Keaton. And Keaton chips one. Ooh, and he does actually find Talismango. And he sends that one over the crossbar. How about that? Good little cross right there by Keaton Parks. Finds his man. He just can't finish. As Tallis had the opportunity there, as we are now approaching the 83rd, and New York comes away with the ball as Tallis tries to flick it forward, as Wolf will come away with it. Here's Keaton, as Maxi tried to find Nico Fernandez, as that was taken away, but here comes New York City again. As Nico does find Tallis, and there's a deflection, so that'll go out. So New York will have the corner here, as things have kind of gotten interesting now in the last 10 minutes here for New York. As City's kind of been ratcheting up the pressure here. There's a and Tallis got on the end of that one. That was taken. That got deflected. Deflected. There's a ball in. Ooh. Here's Tallis. He gets a shot deflected. There's another shot that gets deflected, and then it'll get out. Good defense by Charlotte yet again. As O'Neal put one on. As Tallis tried his best to get a shot off. Couldn't. Looks like he might have tweaked a knee. As the mid-ref comes in. And it looks like New York is going to make a change here. Yeah, I mean, she's cute-ish. As there's a yellow card. I think this one's going against Keaton Park. She's just handing out yellows just for fun. Just for fun. And she's giving Keaton the eyes, too. Like, if he just says the right thing in that moment, 100% she's going back to his apartment. 100%. I'm joking, of course. She was giving him the eyes, though. I've seen those eyes before. So this will be a corner now for New York. Yeah, this all. Ooh, she's got. Ooh, wow. Two-thirds of this all lady refereeing crew is actually not bad looking. I'm just going to say that. I know I shouldn't say that, but I'll say that, though. As we are now approaching the 86th now. We have 4 minutes left. I will say it, though. As this ball will go in, and it'll find its way out. So I think this will be a goal kick, yeah. They're not bad looking. Just saying. It's easy to see why with these shorts. I'll just say that. Here comes Charlotte now as they press down the left-hand side. Here's Wilf. He's got the overlap with Toffolo. That's a nice little dish right here. Here's Wilf. Oh, and he can't hold on to it, and New York clears. And that'll go all the way back out as Privet will gain control. It's Luca Della Torre now. Here's Luca. His name was Luca. Here's Toffolo. That's a cool Italian name. Luca Della Torre. As that one gets out. So I think this will be a throw-in for Charlotte. It sure will. As we have about 2.5 minutes remaining. And then we'll have added time. Nice little play by Wilf as Toffolo will put one in. That's going to get cleared out. And that'll go out. So New York will have to throw in now. As Charlotte. That was the first time we really seen Charlotte in possession in the last 20 minutes. And here is Sneakers O'Toole up the left-hand side. Here's Tallis as he beats his man. As New York will hold it in. Here's Wolf. Tries to put it through. Oh, he does. Oh, and Nico can't finish. As there's Kalina to wrap it up. As that was actually a nice little touch right there by Wolf. Spring and Nico. And he put one on through the legs of Privet. And now here comes Charlotte. It's Luca. Here's Pep Beal. There's the chip. And New York will come away with it. So again, Charlotte acting quick on the counterattack. Trying to catch New York with their pants down. But here comes New York. As Tallis will try to play one on, and there's Kalina again. I think that one took a deflection. That was not a good shot by Tallis. As now we have 1 minute left for this full 90. As Charlotte cling into a 1-goal lead. Here's Wilf. That's a good through ball. Here's Pep Beal to the other side. Finds Vargas. Vargas will play one on. Oh! And he beats Matt Freese. And there it is. There's your second goal. As Vargas beats the U.S. #1 to the far post. And they're going to walk away with 3 tonight in New York. How about Charlotte? How about Charlotte tonight? That was beautiful. This again, a nice little quick counter as Pep Beal played it to the other side, and that was just a nice touch onto the left foot for Vargas, and then he just puts one on and beats Matt Freese. And Freese got a hand on it. Ooh. How about Vargas? That was nice. All right. So we are in extra time now. As Charlotte just handed New York the dagger right there. As they just put New York to the sword. as we have 4 minutes of added time, as we are almost through the first minute now, as New York had their opportunities and didn't take them in the first half. And that is the essentially the name of soccer. Is it can be very kind to you, but it can also be very unforgiving, especially if you can't be clinical when you need to be. And New York had 4 good solid opportunities in that first half, and they couldn't take advantage of it. And as a result, Charlotte, and by the way, Charlotte hasn't really been playing all that great tonight. You know, their first half was absolute trash. But on the 2 or 3 occasions where they did get forward in the second half, they found the back of the net, and here we are. That's totally obvious. Sorry, guys. I didn't necessarily mean to be the king of obvious right there. It's like, you know, if you take advantage of your opportunities, you'll win. Like, yeah, Steve, no shit. Here's New York now. Here's Nico. He's going to put one on. Oh, and Nico finds the back of the net. And New York gets one back from outside the 18. And City finally connects. And Nico's not exactly happy at all. But that was just a rocket. And he finally gets past Kalina. As Wolf wins that, and it just finds Nico right there. And he puts one in. So City has about a minute and a half. Can they find an equalizer? No, they can't. As Charlotte now will make a switch, as it looks like Pep Biel's coming off. And here comes Diani now for the final minute and a half. As this ball gets played up the right-hand side. So that finds Keaton Parks. That's a white name if I've ever heard one. Keaton. There was a dude, by the way, that used to play for Duke. His name was Cherokee Parks. I don't know if you guys remember that guy. I just kind of aged myself right there. Oh, here comes Morrison now. That's a ooh. And Charlotte almost scored their third. That was good defense right there. Because Matt Freese came out to contest something. And that ball popped. And that was an open net. That was good defense by City. So here we go. This is probably going to be it for City. As Maxi tries to chip one forward, finds Tallis. As this thing bounces around, and now Luca. And Luca now will clear it. As Matt Freese comes out. Smart play by Luca. And now they're going to try to chip this one forward. There's just nobody there except for Ajamang. And ref says play on, although that was a foul. Here comes City. Oh, that thing was blasted into the right field stands by Reed. That shit almost hit the second deck right there, homie. He was going for he was he was swinging for the fences there. As that ball popped away from Morrison right there, or whatever his name is. That was nearly the third goal right there. As that one will go down and find Matt Freese. And Freese will just play this one forward. Yeah, why not? As this thing is almost running out. As Wolf will hold possession now. As this is moved into almost the 96th minute here. As Maxi will play one in. As Morrison Ajamang tries to clear it. Here's Maxi again. Maxi plays one in. And there it is. There's your final. I think there's your final whistle as Charlotte gets the 3 points tonight as they move all the way up to 14 points. Oh, look at that. Oh dear. Did Chicago blew a lead. Instead of getting 3 points from the self, they have to settle for one, but Charlotte moves into third place with this one on 14 points. Oh, we're going to go over that one in just a minute, but yeah. So credit to Charlotte. They went up to New York, scored 2 in the second half, and held on for 2-1. So let's go ahead and get into the stats on this one, as New York will win the possession battle 64-36. Again, 36%. That was it. But it didn't necessarily matter because what really mattered was having that clinical finish right there in the attacking third. Charlotte did it twice, and New York, unfortunately, had their opportunities in that first half and couldn't take it. As a matter of fact, New York had 23 total shots on net, 8 on target. So, I mean, it just goes to show. XG, New York 1.47 to Charlotte's 0.93. Again, total shots 23 for New York, 7 for Charlotte. Shots on target 8.5 to New York. And again, that's you look at the percentages right there. 5 shots on target out of 7 total. That's kind of nice. Big chances, about 5-3 to New York. Big chances missed. New York missed all 5 of their big chances, while Charlotte only missed 2 of them. They made one of them count. Accurate passes 614 to 332 to New York. Both teams committed 7 fouls, and New York had the corner battle won 6-1. Good Lord. XG from open play, New York 1.33 to Charlotte's 0.93. XG on target, 224 to 145. Wow. As you look at the shots a little bit deeper, hitting the woodwork, New York 1, Charlotte 0. Shots inside the box 15-7 for New York, and shots outside the box 8-0 to New York. But again, it doesn't necessarily matter. Total passes 692 for New York City to 400 for Charlotte. Passes in the own half, this is ridiculous. 308 for New York to 221. Passes in the opposition half, 306 to 101 to New York. Accurate long balls, 28-19 for Charlotte. Accurate crosses, 6-2 to New York. Touches in the opposition box, 42 for New York, 18 for Charlotte, as New York was offsides 3 times. Yellow cards, 4-2 to Charlotte. That's an insane amount of yellows, by the way. Tackles 17-8 to City as they won the tackle battle. Interceptions 12-7 to Charlotte. Block 6-2. Clearances 34-19. That also went to Charlotte, and Charlotte had 7 keeper saves to New York's 2. The duel battles. New York won that one 40-28. Ground duels 27-19. That also went to New York. And aerial duels 13-9. That went to New York. Successful dribbles 4-3 to Charlotte. Great googly moogly. But that being said, it is what it is, right? Like when you're trying to play that high possession style of game, when you get your opportunities, you have to bury them, plain and simple. Again, New York just didn't, and it's a shame too, because Charlotte, for the most part, by and large, was a team that was dominated by possession. But that being said, they're also the ones that took advantage of the opportunities, and they walk away with 3 points. And that's kind of disappointing if you're in New York too, because, they're the team that wanted to keep pace because, they fancy themselves as somebody that might be able to get to MLS Cup through the East. And, these are the type of big matches that you need to take advantage of. As it's such now, Charlotte leapfrogs Chicago in the standings, while City stays tied on points with the New York Red Bull. Granted, they're only 2 points behind now, Charlotte and Chicago, but they sit 1 point behind New York and New England and Toronto. Speaking of which, let's take a look and see what's going on around Major League Soccer. Yeah, Toronto and Austin drew 3-3. That was actually kind of exciting. Montreal absolutely pummels the Red Bulls 4-1. That's the disappointing loss if you're Red Bulls, because Montreal, man. Montreal is just terrible. Well, they're not bad. They're sitting at 11th, but yeah, they're pretty bad. 2 wins, 6 losses, only 6 points. Columbus. Ooh, that's bad. Columbus is bad. Orlando City's bad too, but I digress. But yeah, okay. Let's see. Yeah, so here's the interesting thing, right? So Inter Miami beats Colorado 3-2. Philadelphia DC finished 0-0. That's bad. But Chicago and Cincinnati tie this thing. It's tied now in the 90 plus 8. And I think we were checking in there early in the second half. Chicago had scored its third. Hugo Kuipers, or at the half, they were up 3-1 at the half, as Hugo Kuipers had a brace in the first half, and Philip Zickernagel scored in the 45 plus 5. So and Tom Barlow had scored in the 42nd minute. So you're up 3-1, and things are looking pretty solid if you're Chicago. But then late in that second half, Vander scores on a penalty, and then they get the own goal of DJ Davila in the 86th minute, and that gave Cincinnati the equalizer. And instead of the 3 points for Chicago, they have to settle 4-1. That's tough. New England. This one's gone full final. As Columbus had a 1-0 lead at the half, courtesy of Max Arfson. But in the second half, Dor Turgeman, his name is Dor, D-O-R, Turgeman. Anyway, he scored in the 54th minute, and then Charles Gill, the never aging Charles Hill, scored in the 85th minute off a penalty, as New England takes care of Columbus 2-1. Ooh. What has happened to the Columbus crew? Ooh. The Houston Dynamo beat Orlando 1-0 as Hector Herrera scored in the 75th minute. So the Dynamo take all 3. And Nashville ends up beating Atlanta 100%. Atlanta's kind of pants themselves. 2-0 as Christian Espinoza scored in the 65th minute, and Sak Mohammed scored in the 90 plus 1 for Nashville. So they take all 3 there on the road in Atlanta. At the half right now, the LA Galaxy and DC United are equal at 2. As Peter Musa has bagged a first half brace in the 7th and 38th minute. Lucas Sanabria scored in the 43rd minute, and in the 45 plus 3, Joseph Paintsel equalized. So that one is knotted at 2. And Minnesota lead Portland at the half right now as Thomas Chancellor scored in the 16th minute for Minnesota. So they're up 1-0. So those are your scores right now. And in the Eastern Conference with that win, so Nashville separated themselves a little bit as they're 4 points clear of Inter Miami at the top of the table, as Miami's sitting on 15 points. And, of course, they fired Jose Mascherano as their head coach, and now they got an interim. Surprise, surprise, another Argentinian. But yeah, Atlanta United is dog shit. 1 win through 8. Ooh, they spent a lot of money too. In the Western Conference, Vancouver sits 3 points adrift at the top of the table. But look who's sitting in number 2. San Jose, the Earthquake, sitting right there. Boom. 18 points. 6 wins, 1 loss. That is nice. 13 goals for, only 2 conceded for San Jose, as they have a plus 11 goal differential. Good for San Jose, man. Bruce Arena has turned everything around in San Jose, not to mention the fact that they've been pretty busy bringing players in. As LAFC sits in 3rd place on 16 points, then you have a 3-team mix right there between Real Salt Lake, the Sounders, and Minnesota on 14 points. And, of course, Seattle's getting down right now. So there is still plenty to do here in the Western Conference, as the Dynamo won. They got their third win, so they're sitting 3 points off a playoff spot, sitting in 10th place. But ooh, look at that, Portland only 7 points. Ooh, home dude's gonna get fired. Phil Neville might get fired. Anyway, that's gonna do it for me, guys. It was fun. As Charlotte ends up taking all 3 points. A little surprising. I thought NYCFC might get them tonight, but it is what it is. So next week we will be back for the MLS live stream. Do me a favor and hook your boy up. Throw me a little sub tonight, a little like, a little a little notification action, as we are inching close to 500. Man, this has been absolutely fun. So yeah, man, I will be back tomorrow as Billy T joins me tomorrow for a discussion. So that's going to be absolutely fun as we recap the first 2 matches of Roberto De Zerbi with Spurs. That's going to be fun. And then, of course, we're back next week with USM&T Yanks Abroad as we recap the weekend that was, as we are winding down the 2025-2026 season, as we get set for World Cup 2026, which all matches will be here on Stateside Footy. It's going to be an absolute howler of a summer, so I'm looking forward to it, man. So there's plenty going on here on Stateside Footy. It should be great. So until then, I hope you guys enjoy the rest of your Saturday night. Most importantly, I hope you guys enjoy your Sunday. That's going to do it from you guys. Take it easy. Good night.
Rusted goalposts under fading sky.